Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Sex Here and Now. As always, I am your host, Matt Lockman. I am a licensed clinical therapist and ASECT certified sex therapist. Sorry I was away last week. Something big happened in my life. And today's episode is going to be a little bit more personal because I finally get to share something that I have been waiting to tell all of you. I am married. If you've followed my podcast, my YouTube channel, or my writings over the past several years, you've probably heard me mention my fiance more than a few times. Well, I can officially retire that word because he is now my husband. Husband? Husband. Weird. Pretty weird to say that, but anyways, this episode isn't really about my wedding. It's about marriage itself because I realized something as I was preparing for this new chapter, if you will. So many people talk about marriage as though it fundamentally changes a relationship. People say things like, everything is different now, or welcome to married life, as though there's some invisible switch that gets flipped the moment you sign the marriage license. And while I completely understand why people feel that way, I actually don't think that's how healthy relationships really work. Jim, my partner, my husband, and I have been together for almost 10 years. We've built a life together. We've shared a home, we've traveled, we've celebrated birthdays and holidays. We've supported one another through career changes, navigating really difficult moments, laughing a lot, and we learned how to repair after conflict. We didn't subtly become committed because we got married. We were already committed to one another. Our wedding simply acknowledged something that had already existed for a very long time. As a therapist, I think we confuse the symbol of commitment with commitment itself. A wedding is a symbol. A marriage license is a legal document. Rings are symbols. They're meaningful symbols, and I don't want to minimize that because they absolutely mattered to me. Standing in front of our family and friends and publicly choosing one another was incredibly emotional. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life so far. But those things, they didn't create our relationship. They celebrated it. The trust, vulnerability, honesty, friendship, and love had already been there and had been built over thousands of ordinary days together. In fact, if Jim and I had decided after 10 years that marriage simply wasn't for us, I genuinely don't think our relationship would have been any less legitimate. We would still have loved each other. We would still have been partners. We still would have chosen one another every single day. Marriage did not make our relationship more real. It simply marked another step in a relationship that was already real. That's something I wish more people believed because I know there are so many couples and polyamorous folk who feel pressured to reach that next milestone as though their relationship isn't complete until they check another box. One of the things I love about being a sex therapist is that I get to work with people whose relationships look incredibly different from one another. Some are married. Some have no desire to ever get married. Some have divorced and have no interest in doing it ever again. Some are in consensually non monogamous relationships where marriage isn't even the goal. Others are happily single. What I've learned about sitting with thousands of people is that healthy relationships aren't determined by their structure, they're determined by how people treat one another. Marriage doesn't automatically create trust. It doesn't magically improve communication or increase vulnerability. If anything, it simply gives you another opportunity to continue doing the work you've already hopefully been doing. I also think there's something freeing about recognizing that relationships are verbs. There's something we continually practice rather than something we achieve. There isn't some finish line where you finally arrive and everything becomes easy. Every relationship requires curiosity and flexibility and honesty and accountability and care. Those things don't stop once you're married. In many ways, they become even more important because you're continuing to choose this person over and over again as you both grow and change throughout the years. So, yes, I'm incredibly excited to say that I have a husband. I still catch myself, as you heard in the beginning of this episode, using that phrase, but you know, that will change over time and I will become more comfortable with it. So thank you for letting me share this milestone with all of you. Most of you have been here for many years. I know this podcast is new, but following Cleveland Sex Therapy and my YouTube channel, I'm incredibly grateful for the support that all of you have, and I look forward to continuing this journey with all of you. Sex Here and Now is written and recorded by me, Matt Lockman. For more resources, education, or support, you can find me on all social platforms at Cleveland Sex Therapy. Thanks for being here, and as always, stay curious.